and it'll just rip. We might have 100 years on Earth.
Betelgeuse will momentarily blaze in our skies with a brilliance that is unmatched by any other star or planet, with the sun being the glaring exception, of course. And shocking discovery is that Betelgeuse just exploded and something terrifying is happening. Fortunately, Betelgeuse does not pose a danger to Earth. When it does burst, its lethal radiation will disperse evenly in all directions, and by the time it reaches us, it will be at a level where it is no longer a cause for worry, since it will be so weak. However, other possibilities for supernova, such as Wolf-Rayet stars, pose a far greater threat. Betelgeuse is known by astronomers to be a dying red supergiant star that has a diameter that is nearly 700 times bigger than that of our own sun. As a direct consequence of this, the brightness of it varies over time. The star will one day go through a process known as supernova, during which it will put on a dazzling show for humanity before finally disappearing from the horizon of our night sky altogether. This coming explosion explains why astronomers grew excited when Betelgeuse began drastically dimming in 2019. It was an indication that the star was ready to burst. Therefore, it was a sign that Betelgeuse was about to go supernova. It was discovered that the brightness of the 10th brightest star had decreased by 2.5 times. There is a possibility that Betelgeuse has completed its cycle of life and will no longer exist. People's attention was sparked by the possibility that a supernova would suddenly erupt in the heavens above the Earth, despite the fact that this happening is extremely unlikely to take place. And now, according to new simulations, scientists are gaining a clearer image of what humans on Earth will see when the Betelgeuse supernova explosion eventually takes place sometime within the next 100,000 years. This event is expected to take place sometime within the next 100,000 years. After hearing everyone talk about what a Betelgeuse supernova may seem like to people on Earth, Andy Howell, an astronomer at the University of California, Santa Barbara, became tired of making calculations on the back of envelopes. The job of producing more precise simulations of the latter days of the star's existence was assigned to Jared Goldberg and Evan Bauer, both of whom are doctorate students at the University of California, Santa Barbara. They were able to enhance the accuracy of their forecasts by utilizing data gathered during supernova 1987A, which was the nearest known star to explode in recent centuries. Despite the fact that the scientists believe there is still some degree of ambiguity about how the supernova would play out, they were able to improve the accuracy of their predictions. There won't be any effect on the life that exists on Earth. On the other hand, this does not guarantee that nobody will take note of it. Goldberg and Bauer made the discovery that following the explosion of Betelgeuse, the ensuing light will be as bright as the half-moon, but 9 times dimmer than the full moon over a length of time larger than 3 months. Howell asserted that all of this ingenuity will be accumulated in a single area. According to him, this would mean that there would be this enormously strong beacon in the sky that would throw shadows at night, and that you could see during the daytime. People from every corner of the world would be curious to find out more about it due to the fact that it would be difficult to avoid. It would take around 1 year for people to be able to see the supernova during the day and watch it in the sky, according to him. In addition to this, even after the afterglow of the supernova had subsided, it would still be discernible to the naked eye during the night for a considerable amount of time. The explosion that occurred in the star system is not anything that should be causing any alarm for you. For the radiation from a supernova to be damaging to life on Earth, the supernova would have to occur extremely close to Earth. According to some estimations, the distance would need to be as small as a few hundred light years. Only then would the radiation be dangerous. Betelgeuse is around 724 light-years away, which putting it substantially outside of the danger zone and significantly beyond than that range. Because of this, Betelgeuse is considered to be safe. Recent studies point to this particular distance. Nevertheless, it is possible that the explosion will still have some unanticipated repercussions on Earth in the future. Howell, for example, points out that many different kinds of animals rely on the moon for navigation, and that when they are subjected to artificial lights, they get disoriented. It is probable that there will be some disturbance caused by the presence of a second object that is equally as brilliant as the moon. In a cruel twist of fate, This would not only have a severe influence on the creatures who live in the region, but it would also make astronomers' jobs more difficult. Even acquiring a fundamental understanding of Betelgeuse would have its own unique challenges. The intense light would be too much for the tools they were using to process. According to him, they were unable to view it using the majority of the ground-based telescopes or the majority of the space-based telescopes, such as the Swift or the Hubble Space Telescope. Instead, scientists would need to make changes to their telescopes such that they captured far less light from the universe. In addition, experts believe that even if Betelgeuse defies the odds and erupts during our lifetimes, we will have plenty of warning before the event takes place. As early as one day before the explosion, instruments based on Earth would start making detections of gravitational waves or neutrinos generated by the explosion. Imagine that a significant number of people all around the world stayed up late to see the light display being put on by Betelgeuse, and that when it finally began, there was an uproar heard all across the Earth. However, an explosion is not essential for Betelgeuse to be interesting to scientists in order for them to find it intriguing. Because of its size and the amount of light that it receives, it is very easy to understand. According to Nance, it is an exciting time to be an astronomer because we are able to investigate a star that is approaching close to the end of its life very thoroughly. The internal structure of Betelgeuse is home to some fascinating physical processes, the researcher stated. Given what they already know about the star and about other stars that are analogous to it, astronomers now have the best possible notion of what is happening right now. According to Nance's explanation, the outcomes of the inquiry show that the brightness of Betelgeuse might be altering due to a number of factors. This was demonstrated by the fact that the brightness of Betelgeuse changed. Even more astronomers are of the opinion that the dimming is being caused by a variety of separate mechanisms that are working in conjunction with one another. When the nuclear fuel that fuels the cores of red supergiant stars runs out at the end of their lifetimes, the stars begin to balloon and generate expanding envelopes of gas and dust. This phenomenon is known as envelope expansion, and as a direct consequence of this envelope expanding, the star's brightness increases when it happens. However, this is not the only factor that may cause a star's brightness to shift, and Betelgeuse is no exception. In addition, red supergiant stars have huge convective cells on their surfaces. These convective cells are basically a much larger version of the convective cells that can be seen on our very own sun. The turbulence that drives the ascent of the hot material from deeper within the star is what gives rise to the formation of these cells. When it reaches the surface, a portion of that material abruptly erupts into space like a massive radioactive belch, which causes a momentary change in the luminosity of the object. For more amazing space content, be sure to subscribe and turn on post notification. The weakening of the light emanating from Betelgeuse might very well be an indicator that the star is on the approach of undergoing a supernova. When material starts to erupt from the surface of a dying star, it frequently collides with other particles, which causes it to become more bright. This is one of the processes that causes the death of a star. Nance, on the other hand, is of the opinion that it is not impossible that the star is being obscured by this junk, which is resulting in the star appearing to be less luminous. Whatever the underlying cause may be, the strange behavior should, in the end, give unique insights into the latter stages of the lifetimes of red supergiant stars. This is the case regardless of what the answer may be, and the human race will have a front row seat to see it all unfold. Astronomers are in a fantastic position to carry out research on the last phases of nuclear combustion before to an explosion, since Betelgeuse offers such a conducive environment. You will be very shocked by what scientists just discovered. Click on the next video to find out what it is.